Hey guys, Adam here. Back to you with part 3 of my Stretchbox Lunchbox build that I've been working on. It's been about 3 weeks since the last video. I just been busy with the holidays. I'm sure everybody else is. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Anyhow, I just we'll start with the chassis here. Some things that I've worked on are these transmission mounts. I ended up placing them inside. I ended up, as you can see here, I had to notch out a little bit into the angle for these to fit flush up and down, and to also fit all the way inside on the inside of the chassis, as you can see, all the way down. It's real important that those get pushed in all the way. Otherwise, they won't line up with the holes that the screws go inside of them. And the way that I got those holes to line up, I drilled them from the inside right through the angle, through the previous hole through the chassis. That way I knew that when I pushed these in, I'd be able to screw into that, and it would be just like it is, in the original chassis build. And how it goes together. I did have to use a longer screw. I just went to a hobby shop down the street and picked up some 3mm by 20s. The stock screw is 3mm by 12s, and they weren't going to be long enough with the addition of the aluminum and the little bit of a gap there that you can see. You have to compensate for that as well. Even though it's touching, the little, I don't know what they are. They're just like little grooves, you have to compensate for that. So that's almost a 1/2 inch that I added on. So they're 3mm by 20s, just for anybody that's going to try to attempt this or thinking about altering their lunchbox as well. And it worked out great. They're in there real strong. I mean, I think they're even better than stock. Usually what I remembered is they'd always, eventually I think they wear out a little bit, but they feel much stronger already with using the longer screws, and maybe it's the aluminum and it's just all tying it all together. But it came out real nice. So I've been working on that and got those finished. And the next thing that I saw with that is the battery harness. That was kind of the next thing that I was having to figure out, because the battery harness would connect right here and it would connect to these. And since I stretched this, I had to figure out how I was going to stretch the battery harness. And with that, I ended up having to make, so the first step was making these V-notches so that I could fit this front piece here and get that screwed in. And then the second part, which once I cut the battery harness in half, the back part, I screwed that in. Once I did that and I had my two pieces on there, I made this template out of cardboard. And what I did here, these are just some notes that I had. I ended up measuring, and I wanted to see what a 3/4 inch apron and a 1 inch apron looked like. And I ended up going with the 1 inch. I think it looked better. It was kind of looked more what I was going for, and there's a less of a gap, and it looks really clean. And I'll show you guys that here in a minute, after I get done explaining the rest of this to you. So once I made that template out of cardboard, I fabricated this piece, and it's just a little it's made out of aluminum, and it's just a little pan, and I ended up spray painting all the parts hammered black. And I used the same type of hardware that I used for mounting the angle, so it's all the same. I have lock nuts here and washers, all 832, same as the screws. I ended up countersinking those, so it looks nice and flush, and the paint job came out real nice. I think, it looks really good. It looks like it was meant to be, right? Well, that's what I think anyway. But So I'll go ahead and get all this assembled. I do want to note that the battery harness is optional. I did choose to make this piece because I believe it's going to help strengthen this back here. And that's a concern that I have with, I'm not sure how it's going to ride with stretching it. And it's going to add a little bit more pressure back here, I think. So I think this is going to help tie in both pieces even more. Even though it's attached here and here, I believe that having another piece here and then coming down and attaching it to this is going to help strengthen the transmission. And that's why I went with the option of doing it. Also because I want to try to use all of the parts that came with the truck, even though I am doing this modification. Again, the battery harness is optional. As you can see, it's got placement here for the A-arms and these holes. And then this is the front piece here that screws onto here. And you can see it's got the placements for the A-arms there as well. And so does the battery harness. See those holes there. So it also looks like it adds to the suspension, height. Adding these pieces, I think without them, your truck might be down a little bit more. I'm not quite sure, but that's kind of a guess. Anyhow, I'll go ahead and assemble this all together and let you guys check it out, and we'll go from there. All right, so I went ahead and assembled this for you guys. Wanted you guys to get a good look at how it looks like once it's all in place. Came out really nice. This is kind of what it looks like on the side. I could take that apron up a little bit more, maybe another 1/8 or so, and then it'd be touching it. But I don't know, I kind of liked having that little bit of a gap there, because I'm actually thinking about maybe putting some electronics in there. They have, those sound boxes that, that they have the engine. You can download different engines onto it, and so I thought that might be kind of fun to do with it. Or you could technically put a battery in there still. I mean, it's definitely long enough to fit something, and it would hide it well and protect it well. You'd probably just have to make some brackets for it, possibly, to keep it from moving around in there, just to secure it. And you have plenty of room. You could have the wires come out of there, or you have this crack here. Even though I'm going to end up putting some foam board in there, there's lots of room. You could bring up the wire right through that circle and make it look real nice. There's all kinds of options. There's definitely you have a lot of things that you can do with it, which is kind of nice. So there you have it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this part 3. I'm gonna get you some more videos here with the progress of this build. I'm really having a good time doing this. Hope everybody's enjoying it. Please like and share the video, and subscribe if you want to continue seeing the videos as well. All right, thanks again, guys. Take care.